This is a old vault that has unfortunately busted open. Oh God! They dumped on top of the grave, man. What was that? Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into history, and I am back down in Sumter County, Georgia, with Cecil as he surveys and documents cemeteries down here, and we are at an old church cemetery, also known as a graveyard. There's the old church building there. Not a very old church. It's cinder block construction. And where are we at, Cecil?
This is Bethel Primitive Baptist Cemetery.
The baptismal right here, right beside the pretty red clay dirt road, has not been used in some time, I would say. Graves are all around this church, and we're running out of light kind of quick here. I can't read that first name. Probably Robinson, age worn off. Old vault that has unfortunately busted open. Right beside it is an indention as a grave. Grave there, there's probably more. So just those little graves by themselves and under the cedar trees, it looks like. But then they come back round over here. There's a grave right there. There's an indention. A grave here. One's from 1955. Charlie Davis died June 30th, 1955. And Amanda Davis, 1881 to 1943. We're starting to get some burial artifacts here. So we go in there and look at those. There's kind of a maintained area over here, off in the woods, for lost graves and a big cedar tree. Why are cedar trees so much bigger down here? There's graves here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 row of graves. I think that's an indention for a grave right there. People have been dumping in the cemetery, I would say if you could believe that, but it really does not shock me at this point. That is definitely, and those bulb flowers are probably marking, yeah, look at that. You can kind of see how they're marking grave space, probably a lot more over here. So this is definitely where we're getting into kind of cemetery artifacts that I always want to point out and talk about in the African American cemeteries. I've got something there, maybe like a water vessel. But then here is, I think that this is what's known as like an Aladdin lamp.
Yeah, there's the rest of it.
Yeah. And then there's a piece of marble here that is not marked. Just a blank, broken piece of marble. And there's the rest of the lamp here. And someone has shot it. And that was probably not, as you know, probably wasn't like that when it was placed out here. I mean, some just, people not meaning good. That's a grave. You see the indention there, unmarked grave, big cedar tree right there. They certainly grow large down in these counties. Mary Nelms, born July 15th, 1811, died May 12th, 1896. You know, being that this is an African-American cemetery, real possibility that she was born into slavery. So that's a double marker. You got the initials there. That's HS and LS. Well, that marker is face down and would be a bear to move. We've also got stonemason engraving on there. Fieldstone. Oh, this one's engraved. Engraved fieldstone is very special because it's very rare. You know, you see a lot of fieldstones. You see a lot of different handmade types, but an engraved fieldstone is rare. We've seen second one we've seen down in Sumter County. That's 1890. Is that a 2?
Looks like it. It's either a 2 or an 8.
Maybe the camera might actually show it up better. That's really cool. It kind of, whenever we see a different kind of grave marker, that's the more rare type, whether it be wooden markers or engraved fieldstone, I always get excited. Laura Black Shear died February 9th, 1897. At the bottom it says at rest, stamped concrete marker. So we got brick right there, probably marking a grave. Wonder what they were doing. You know? Obviously got a whole row of graves here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's a military grave down there. Take a look at it. And we've got cemetery artifacts over here. Now these look like, well, this is a cemetery artifact here for sure. Some of that just looks like dumping too, so. Mose Griffin, Georgia, Private 432 Reserves Labor Battalion Quartermaster Company. January 14th, 1934. Also, you see this little broken bottle that's at his grave. It could have been something that was left there intentionally for him, you know? As maybe a makeshift vase or something. These cemetery artifacts in African American cemeteries, I've talked a lot about. African American cemeteries are one of my favorite aspects of history because they are very unique and lots of different burial styles. And it's also always worth pointing out the cemetery artifacts because people who are unaware that some of this stuff might actually belong in the cemetery might come and unintentionally remove such items. Like here's another example right here, you know. It's a beautiful piece. Now if someone, you know, didn't know any better and was trying to clean up a place and just picked it up and threw it away, it would be removing an artifact that was meant to be here. Lottie Wall died March 2nd, 1923. Second time I've seen my birthday today. Age 74 years. There's another one right here. Another marker. Willie W. Battle, born 1896, died February 6, 1922. Granite
marker.
Yeah. It's granite rock there with a cedar growing around it. You know, these cedars are pretty slow growing, so it's been there for a while. Another veteran over here, Alfred Pace Jr., Georgia, private company Private First Class, Company B, 530 Quartermaster Battalion, World War II, March 15th, 1924 to December 19th, 1962. It's interesting, though, to see the graves that are, being maintained out there versus all of the stuff in the woods. And ow, that's sharp. Got two pieces of marble here, maybe repurposed from something else. Oh, be careful, Cecil. Oh wow. It's talking about burial artifacts, and see the biggest one I've ever seen. There's just a piece of marble. I'm going to circle back to that. Oh, look at this little headstone. It's a little stamped concrete. Athlone Stallings, I was just a child, May 2nd, 1911 to May 29th, 1912. And there's
the footstones here.
Oh yeah, a little small, matched size footstone, matching the size. So cemetery artifact of some sort. Here it's a cup, and maybe it goes with this grave. The cemetery has some trash in it, but it's also got artifacts in it. This is amazing right here. So this, I just look at this picture. I don't know how old something like this would be, but it had two handles on it. And this is definitely kind of cemetery artifact that I look for and talk about in African American burials. We're going to put it back exactly like it was, though. We just don't want to damage the integrity of the site. This is part of it. This is the bottom, but it's not intact. It's too bad. This one looks like it was broken later. Since the bottom is there, it's probably set on the grave. The thing with the burial artifacts in African American cemeteries, if you have not heard me talk about it before, it is something I've talked about at different times when we've been in African American cemeteries. To place water vessels on burials is a African American tradition, and it is thought of as a tradition it came from African traditions, and descendants of African slaves continued doing it. There are several different ideas on it. One, and it varies by region, of course, and who the families were that were doing it. But one is that you would place water vessels on the grave, or vessels to hold water. I'm not exactly sure the meaning. I think it was to capture spirits, or maybe to release, maybe capture bad spirits. And those were intact water vessels that were on the grave. There's the other tradition to break a vessel at a grave. You would intentionally break it. And here we have another artifact. This may have been something, both of these that I've just seen may have been something that were intentionally broken. There's several different traditions behind this. One is that you would break a vessel that had water in it on a new burial. The water would spill out and go into the ground, and that would, represent the body going into the ground. And the water evaporates and rises to heaven, like the soul. And the broken vessel would represent the loss of a loved one. In other words, something that was broken and couldn't be fixed, and it'd be left at the grave. I've seen numerous different items used as those kind of water vessels in African American cemeteries. Anything from snuff jars to the beautiful pieces that we're seeing today, to mason jars. And they are important pieces that belong to the cemetery. This is a fantastic, look at this. This is probably one of the best examples of it. If this was broken right here, if this was dropped right here and broken on that, and it has forever sat right here. I'm not going to move these to look at it closer, but it really looks like it was dropped. This was probably pounded into the ground, and after the burial, and that tradition was carried out here because all of these pieces are just right here at this, where you can see where it would have kind of broken apart. That's amazing right there.
And here's the head or the foot with the bulb flowers coming up.
Yeah, the bulb flowers. The daffodils, a little early for them. There's actually a mason jar, so we actually have kind of several different burial artifacts here, right here. I was going to say there's another one back here. So it could have been one at the head and the foot of this one. This one looks older. That one looks a little newer. There's another fragmented piece right here. There's another one of these Aladdin.
Got bullet holes in it.
Yeah,
too.
that one has been shot too. Another one of these lanterns. We've seen another African American cemetery that had a bunch of oil lamps in it too, for burial artifacts. This is another good example. This one's unbroken, so it may have been used as a vase or kind of the water vessel we've talked about, kind of an unbroken thing right there. That one's intact. This is just another little nice piece that may have been set on this grave. What's that? I can't see. Royal Rose, Germany. So just a neat piece of cemetery artifact. So yeah, there's one right there. This deer's rubbing his antlers right there. There's a deep indention right there. You might be able to, you can probably see it. A lot of people can't see the indentions on video. That one you probably see pretty well from the shadow. See, like, there we go. Let's cast a shadow. There it is. The indention is formed when there's nothing left of the burial. You know, the casket and the human remains, if a casket was used, have rotted away. There's a funeral home placard. And see, no indention is formed with this one. Not every grave forms an indention. Another really big cedar tree. That's a snuff jar, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked about this earlier. Snuff jars are really common to be seen too at African American cemeteries as another kind of burial artifact, another kind of water vessel. And these are probably just common, you know, what if people didn't have the nice pictures and stuff, something like that. So we've got really good examples of different types of burial items in the cemetery. Now we got some stuff. What is this?
I don't know. It's like construction. That looks like a vault. On the top, that corner, and there's cinder block, and
it's concreted over field stone. Maybe this was a foundation for the old church, because if this place dates back to as old as some of those burials are, then there was obviously another church here. But it's in a weird place, that's for sure. There's a lot of trash through here. And you've also got, this is just vases and future cemetery artifacts. But then this is more the trash aspect I was talking about. Someone has just been dumping out here in this cemetery, which is insane that someone would come back here and do this. That is just utter disrespect for this place. And it looks like it has been something that's been a problem. There's it looks like that would have been something placed on a grave, but probably not, I guess. I mean, just someone's little house decor they decided to get rid of.
yeah, that brass one's like a indoor plant, like a fake indoor plant.
So that's just this total disrespect there. Seems someone just pulled back down in here and dumped stuff. Getting back out. What is that? I don't know, I changed the light. There we go. This is a wine holder. It's not old. That's just oh God! They dumped on top of the grave, man.
There's a row of them right here.
Yeah, I see. There's right there under that cardboard box right there. There's a grave. There's a grave. And how insane is that? And they talk about the disrespect of just dumping in a cemetery. To actually dump on top of a grave that is a shitty person right there. You know, there's just no other way to put that. So obviously we have kind of lost all of our light on this exploration, documentation of this old cemetery. It's a cool place though, from the old church. It's maybe not too old, but the old church here to the, what was that? Oh, I jumped. I don't think the camera saw me jump. To the old graves out here, the cemetery artifacts, which are so special in these old cemeteries. Really an amazing place. So big shout out to Cecil for bringing me out here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on another adventure into history.